Welcome to Presenting and Sharing a Family Tree. This is part 2 in the series, and my name is Victoria McGregor of Victoria's Press. Pretty much how far you go back in your family tree will determine what you might be able to include. Think of anything and everything: pictures, documents, videos, recordings, even Google Maps. Here's a helpful tip. Have 4 browser windows open for the populating part. A Ponga album for the pictures you want to include as links from within the tree is also useful. So, one family tree, one picture album, one permanent.org, and one free browser. The process starts with creating my first text box for a person on my tree. Here I've started with Esther Alice Longworth, my great-grandmother. By clicking on the Select icon from the toolbar on the left, then expanding the Select tool around her label, I'm ready to begin entering her story. The thumbnail image is a sweet little way to pop in a preview image. There's no facial recognition here, but it is a nice touch when adding a link to a Ponga album picture. For a linked image from the Ponga Family Tree album of pictures, grab the URL, but don't include the HTTPS. Paste it into the comment box and click Post. Now let's look at that linked picture. When I click on the inserted link URL, a new browser window opens up. Hovering over Esther Alice's face shows Ponga's facial recognition doing its thing. It's simple to leave a comment here in the comment box and share a story with my invited guests. Typing my own words into this comment box, perhaps some thoughts or stories that may have been passed to me, it starts to grow the story. Then I click Post, making the comments live and ready to be shared with my guests, and my guests will also be notified. Here's another super helpful tip. Be sure to click Post, or your entries won't be saved. Linking to a document stored on permanent.org. On the Permanent tab, I highlight the document I want to include. Click Get Link at the top, then Copy Link, and done. Back to the family tree and open the comment box for Esther Alice and paste in the link. No need to remove the HTTPS here. Then click Post. And then we get a nice preview with a link to the document. Like many, I was hanging on for the release of the UK 1921 census. I wanted to solve a mystery. When new documents reveal themselves, uploading them to permanent.org is the best solution for sharing. Just like before, it's just 1, 2, 3, and share. And now I have solved this long-standing question mark over the relationship between my grandparents. John Joseph's label on the family tree now holds many ancestral facts, along with some very fun and interesting stories. And all of this is ready to be shared. The Black Dog Pub in Belmont, Lancashire, England, kept popping up in my research. It played a significant part in the lives of my ancestors. In fact, it's almost a relative. Members on both sides of the family tree either were born there, lived there, worked there, or died there, and in some cases, all 4. It's still in operation now, and you can be sure I'll be going there when the world opens up. But wait, I can go there now with good old Google Maps as my Ponga porting time machine. I'm at the door of the Black Dog Pub, near the corner of Maria Square, one of the last known addresses for my great-grandfather in the UK in 1922. My ancestors may have actually walked on those cobblestones. I mean, really, this is magic. When I finished and had linked everything I had at the moment for my great-grandmother, it looks perfect. Esther Alice's place on the family tree is presented beautifully. Oh, and don't forget, remember those documents on permanent.org are all downloadable documents for my invited guests. Remember those blank labels and how I named some of them, with family memories that inspire us to share stories? We'll now look at how to link a 1950s home movie to the family tree. It's the same process as with a document stored on permanent.org. Get link, copy link, and paste into the Ponga comment box. Clicking on the embedded link, well, I'm going to let you enjoy this. Why this is so special to me and some of my cousins is because we never met Grandpa, but we knew Tiny the St. Bernard dog. We all have a tiny story, don't we? And we get to see the man who loved that big slobber machine as much as we all did. As a member or a guest, you can add voice memories to any selection with the compelling character of your own voice. In the best case scenario, memories can be recorded by the people who were there at the time. That's true magic. Simply clicking on the microphone icon, it's press, play, and done. It's best to do this with a microphone or a headset. Sometimes it's nice to speak to what's in a picture or document and share some of the quirky details and interesting twists and turns on a family tree with family and guests. As a person tells a story, their voice can be one of the most powerful elements in storytelling. Small observations, research oddities, or historical context recorded creates genuine dialogue. To E or not to E. In this case, my research led me to discover many spellings of my ancestor's name. Helm with an E, Helm without an E. In fact, on various census documents through the decades of the 19th century, I've seen Helm and Hallam. Research can be a battle. When finished, it's even an automatic post. This is the perfect place to share thoughts and discoveries about your family. I chose a label at the very top of the tree to give my thoughts about the women in my family who were the pioneers, women on the move. By putting some of my ideas and thoughts here, my guests can add in their own perspectives or experiences. And what's great about this, the story begins to grow. How important is context? When I add photographs to any individual label on my family tree, those photographs give some context. I'm now engaging with the scene, what was happening at the moment and where they were at the time. A picnic on a Sunday in early summer 1924 in perhaps the backyard of my grandparents' home. This little photo of my Auntie Pat holding my tiny newborn mom with my grandfather in the background helping himself to lunch tells a wonderful story. The writing in pencil on the back of this photograph is my grandmother's writing, and she probably was the photographer as well. Even the word backyard provides me with some context. My grandmother had only been in Canada for 10 years and had adopted Canadian terminology. The English, and Australians for that matter, call it a garden. It's the stories that bring our ancestors' worlds to life. When all I had were some old documents, they would fill my tree with context, as they did for Benjamin Helm. Once the documents and historical information was added, the entry for Benjamin takes shape. He comes alive without any pictures at all. And it's no different for any ancestors on my family tree that live so far back in history that documents are few and far between. Adding in other details, historical or anecdotal, will fill out the family story. Context. There's that word again. It does pop up, but it's so true. Names and dates do not a person make, as it is here for my 2 times great-grandmother, Mary Haslam Longworth, the Belle of Belmont, who died by falling down the cellar stairs at the age of 73. She was a publican all her life, right from the age of 19. With a family tree presented in this format, I'm able to include all the documents I have found and those that have been shared with me. In this secure and private space, my guests, my family, also get to experience a bit of what it must have been like for our ancestors almost 200 years ago. There are stories in here, ideas and thoughts to share.